Are you looking for the best ultra-wide gaming monitors? In this video we will look at some of the best ultra-wide gaming monitors on the market. Before we get started with our video, we have included links in the description, so make sure you check those out to see which one is in your budget range. Number 1. Dell Alienware AW3423DW. The best ultra-wide gaming monitor we've tested is the Dell Alienware AW3423DW. It's an excellent gaming monitor with high-end performance and fantastic picture quality. It has a 34-inch screen with a 1800 arc curve that helps bring the edges more within your field of vision, especially if you sit close to the monitor, and with its wide viewing angles, the image looks consistent at the sides. The main advantage of this monitor is that it has a near-instantaneous response time for incredible motion handling, so there isn't any visible blur behind fast-moving objects. It also has a 175 Hz refresh rate with native G-Sync VRR support, which is useful if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. This monitor uses the same QD-OLED panel as other ultra-wide gaming monitors, providing similar performance with a near-infinite contrast ratio in dark rooms and vivid colors. This means that you'll be happy even if you get one of the other options, like the Dell Alienware AW3423DWF MSI Meg 342C QD-OLED, or the Samsung Odyssey OLED G8/G85SBS34BG85, but those monitors have GSANC compatibility instead. This means they're worth getting to save money if you already have an AMD graphics card, but the AW3423DW remains the best option if you have an NVIDIA graphics card. Number 2. Samsung Odyssey Neo G9. If you tend to play atmospheric or FPS games and want the most screen real estate possible, look into the Samsung Odyssey Neo G9, which has a super ultra-wide screen. It's an excellent gaming monitor with a 32:9 aspect ratio and 5120 by 1440 resolution, which is even bigger than typical ultra-wide monitors like the Dell Alienware AW3423DW. This is the equivalent of placing two 27-inch, 1440p monitors next to each other, letting you see more of your game at once. Instead of the perfect black levels of the QD-OLED Dell monitor, it uses mini LED backlighting to get extremely bright, making highlights pop in HDR. However, Samsung also released the Samsung Odyssey OLED G9/G95SCS49CG95, a 49-inch monitor with a QD-OLED panel, delivering the same excellent picture quality as the Dell. Regarding gaming features, the Neo G9 has FreeSync support, GSANC compatibility, and a fast 240 Hz refresh rate, meaning you can play games at a high refresh rate without issue. The motion handling is also great no matter the refresh rate you're gaming at, and it has a backlight strobing feature to reduce persistence blur, but like most monitors, it doesn't work simultaneously with VRR. Number 3. LG 34GP83AB. If you don't need the best performance possible, a mid-range option like the LG 34GP83AB is a good alternative. It's much smaller than the Samsung Odyssey Neo G9, at 34 inches and with a 21:9 aspect ratio, so it's more of a cheaper alternative to the Dell Alienware AW3423DW. It's different from the Dell because it has an LED backlit LCD panel, meaning the picture quality is worse as it can't display perfect blacks, and it doesn't get as bright as the Samsung either, but that's the trade-off you need to make for getting a cheaper display. This monitor has a native 144 Hz refresh rate that you can overclock to 160 Hz, and its fantastic motion handling makes it special for gaming, especially with signals at a high refresh rate. It results in minimal motion blur, but the monitor doesn't have a backlight strobing feature to further reduce persistence blur for games at a low refresh rate. It also has FreeSync VRR support to reduce screen tearing and is GSANC compatible. However, if you have an NVIDIA graphics card and want something with native GSANC support, the LG 34GP950GB is another great option, but it costs more. Number 4. Gigabyte M34WQ. If the LG 34GP83AB is just a bit out of your price range, the Gigabyte M34WQ is a good choice in the lower mid-range price category. While it has similar features to the LG, You can't overclock its 144Hz native refresh rate up to 160Hz, and motion looks worse on it. This is because it has a slower response time, leading to more smearing, especially when gaming at low refresh rates. Despite that, it still has a fast response time at high refresh rates and delivers a great gaming experience. It's a good choice for co-op gaming as it offers swivel adjustment, which the LG doesn't have, and it still has wide viewing angles, so the image looks consistent from the sides. Its flat screen is also beneficial if you don't like curved screens like on the LG. It has FreeSync VRR support to reduce screen tearing, and even though it isn't certified by NVIDIA, GSANC compatibility works with NVIDIA graphics cards. It also has a few extra gaming perks, like virtual crosshairs and an eagle eye feature that zooms into part of the screen while gaming, making it easier to see opponents. Number 5. Dell S3422DWG. While budget ultra-wide monitors tend to cost more than budget monitors with smaller screens, some good options cost less than other ultra-wide gaming displays. The Dell S3422DWG is a great gaming monitor with a 144Hz refresh rate and a 34-inch screen like the Gigabyte M34WQ, but you do lose out a bit on performance, which is the downside to getting something cheaper. For example, it has more smearing with fast-moving objects, but its overall response time is still good, and it has a backlight strobing feature to try to reduce persistence blur. It also has worse viewing angles than the Gigabyte, but with an 1800R curve, the edges are closer to you, so they don't look too washed out. It has FreeSync VRR support and is also GSANC compatible, but there are some flicker issues at low refresh rates with GSANC. One advantage of the Dell over the Gigabyte is that it delivers better picture quality, particularly for HDR gaming. It has a higher native contrast ratio that makes blacks look deeper in dark rooms, and it also has good HDR brightness so that highlights pop against the rest of the image.